Tezos is creating some pretty big waves right now. Just a few days ago, for example, Google announced that they became an official validator on the Tezos network, so that's massive news. And that kind of development certainly suggests that Tezos has great fundamentals. But in the current bear market, the token XTZ is down about 85%. Which begs the question, is this possibly your second chance at a great potential investment for long-term growth of the XTZ token? In this video, we're looking at 5 reasons why Tezos is such an undervalued crypto gem and why this altcoin has such massive potential. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie. This is Altcoin Buzz. Whether it's Tezos or any other altcoin, of course, I genuinely wish you all the very best of luck if you choose to invest. However, I am not an official financial or investment advisor, and as such, this video is only meant to be informative in nature. It is not official financial or investment advice. Let's first rewind a little bit and remind ourselves of what we covered in our last Tezos video that's playing now. We outlined actually some pretty important features as well as events, things like the recent Hangzhou upgrade, its aggressive NFT growth policy, quality smart contracts, and what bakers and validators do. And in addition, its amazing energy efficiency really is one of the lowest energy use and greenest blockchains in the industry. And so it isn't our intention to rehash all those details here, but we did want to remind you really of some of the strong fundamentals that we like about Tezos in the first place. And none of those have changed. In fact, things just keep getting better. That being said, if you're 100% unfamiliar with Tezos, maybe you're hearing about XTZ for the first time, go back and check out these videos. I'll make sure an on-screen link is popping up right about now. But assuming you do have some familiarity with the project, let's dive into those 5 reasons why this is really Tezos that is one of the leading chains going forward in the crypto space. Reason number 1, issuing native USDT. Here's the scoop. Like it or not, decentralized stablecoins have not grown to a useful scale that we can use just yet across trading in DeFi. But meanwhile, USDC and USDT, both of which are centrally issued, these two keep growing and they're becoming more important. And when you can get native USDC or USDT on a blockchain, this instantly makes that blockchain more useful. On-ramps and off-ramps to fiat are easy, and more options to buy, sell, or trade immediately become available. So when Tether decided that the 12th blockchain it would issue native USDT on would be Tezos, we knew this was an important development. We gave it lots of coverage on our website, altcoinbuzz.io, and we expect the entire DeFi ecosystem on Tezos to grow considerably from here as well, because it's actually still pretty small compared to many layer 1s. Now, by far, the highest volume of trades is in Binance, and with the trading pair of XTZ USDT specifically. It's a pair that will only get more liquid with less slippage for traders as time goes by and offer better pricing, really for both buyers and sellers, again, now that USDT will be native. When you don't have to wrap your tokens or bridge them, everything in the ecosystem becomes easier to use. And that translates into bullishness for Tezos. With more than 400 validators, which are called bakers in the Tezos network, the project is more diversified than most POS, most proof-of-stake chains. And not only are they diverse in number, they're diverse in location too. The country that's validated the most blocks in the last 24 hours is the US, but they only have 22% of the total. So you can see that it's pretty diversified. It means that no one country's policies on staking specifically or crypto in general, think of China here with its 1,000 different bans on Bitcoin, no one country can hurt Tezos. There are more than enough bakers in other jurisdictions to pick up the slack if need be. And in a recent cycle, the biggest baker, which is Coinbase, has only validated 16% of transactions, and no one else has done more than 6.2%. And while Binance dominates the trading activity at about 55%, at least 3 others are also in the running. Those being Coinbase Pro, HitBTC, and BitThumb, which processes 30% of total XTZ transactions, sometimes more. And with what we've seen from CeFi, that's centralized finance lenders, and some exchanges recently, yes, we know it's best not to be dependent on any one exchange for everything. Diversification pays off in this regard. Now, you may remember our friends over at Lunar. This is a gauge of social activity on projects that we like. It kind of gauges the chatter, the excitement around a given altcoin. If you're not familiar with them, or maybe you don't remember us mentioning them previously, you should familiarize yourself with Lunar Crush. It is a great resource. They aggregate more from crypto Twitter than any other app that we've seen personally, and they helped us find this update on the growth of the Tezos community, actually. And here specifically is what I'm referring to. So Stable Tech, who builds stablecoins on Tezos, their CEO Kevin Marabi tweeted this. It is about the slow, steady, daily growth of social engagement on Twitter as measured by Lunar Crush. Total social engagement for XTZ is now almost 33 billion engagements on Twitter. And we can see that this is supported by authentic community growth, which means it's real instead of, for example, artificial in the form of buying likes and followers. Not only that, but they believe in Tezos. And one way you can tell is that 75% of all the circulating XTZ is staked right now. That represents strong belief and a desire to help the network grow. In other words, hodlers of XTZ have some pretty strong hands. Network usage is also growing significantly, and we're getting this information from one of our favorite research resources, i.e. Messari, shown here. By the way, if you're not using them, you should be. And that's not really an investing tip, but it's just the fact that Messari right now is working towards becoming kind of the Bloomberg terminal for the crypto space. And they're doing a good job of it. Now, we're not promoting Messari here. Yes, they did post some great info about Tezos in their quarterly reports section, but it's just an aside. You probably should be making use of Messari. It's a great resource that's out there. May as well make it work for you and use it to your advantage. Both contract calls and transactions are growing steadily year over year. And you can only really see a slight dip in Q2, but that's when everything was kind of down across the board, so it's excusable. By the way, a contract call is when someone calls the smart contract function locally, like maybe with an API, but is not published or broadcast to the network. It's a read-only operation, meaning you can only view but not alter it. A call is like proofreading that your contract will be valid when you broadcast it or reviewing what's in your email before you send it. It's a good gauge of interest in Tezos, and many contract calls end up becoming broadcast transactions of smart contracts. Both are growing year over year, which we can confirm on the Tezos Block Explorer. When chains like this grow during bad times, it means that they're well positioned to grow even more during the good times, i.e. the upcoming bull run. Lastly, let's discuss tokenomics here. While some altcoins result in burning coins, Tezos doesn't have a burning program in the same way that BNB, for example, or a few others do. Nor do they always burn a portion of the transaction fee like ETH does now with the EIP 1559. We mention this because there is a potentially unlimited supply of Tezos XTZ. You should be aware of that. This is rarely an issue, but we did see with Luna that it became a big problem when they tried to issue more Luna in order to save UST. It's also one of the only negatives that we can really point to in this network. We wish it weren't the case. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but if it is for some, you should be aware of it type of thing. Tezos issued 763 million XTZ as a result of their ICO, and new coins are issued at an inflation rate of 5.51% through block rewards for baking. The current supply is 920 million. With a price right now of $1.21, a market cap of about 1.2 billion, it is ranked the 52nd largest project. Kraken, Coinbase, and Binance are the three largest, most liquid markets for trading Tezos, and they all have a vested interest in its success since all three have bakers validating transactions on Tezos too.